It's 3 o'clock. We do not have a quorum, but we're going to start the meeting. And if we get enough commissioners on, we can go back and do the roll call and the approval of the minutes of August 15th. So, Mr. Akris, you are leading the charge today for the executive director. I'll let you get started. Mr. Poole, welcome.
Hey, thank you, sir. Sorry about I'm late. Well, actually, no, just 1 minute late. I apologize.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, everybody. Just jumping into the executive director report, wanted to highlight, an email was sent out prior to this meeting, that the ATCC had restructured its organization recently as of effective as 9/11/2024. Over the last year, we've seen a lot of growth in our agency. We started out back in 2021 as an agency with, I think, approximately 27 pins. We grew slowly but surely, and in the last year, we added an additional approximately 30 some odd positions. So we're now an agency of about 60 persons, 60 to 65 persons. And in order to ensure that we had an efficient and expeditious communication of timely information, we created 3 divisions. We still have the Field Enforcement Division, that is our law enforcement division. We have the Legal and Legislative Division, of which I'm the director, and we have the newly minted Regulatory, Licensing, and Administrative Services Division, of which Andrew Waters, who's on the call now, has been named the director of. So we essentially took a lot of the civilian positions outside of the law enforcement silo, and so now Licensing and Administrative Services reports directly to the executive director. Again, this improves communication, this improves the flow of information, and it allows the executive director to get that information in a timely fashion, get those decision points in a timely fashion, and be able to pull the trigger with those informed decisions quickly. So that was something that we discussed last week. It was effective 9/11. There'll be an organization chart that we post on our website subsequent to this meeting. And with that, I'll take any questions. And if there are no questions, I'll move on to our report outs for our various divisions. All right. Seeing no questions, some highlights with the Field Enforcement Division. In this, if you recall, we changed the way we reported these statistics. Now we're looking at full months. So this is September 19th. The information that I'm going to be giving you is for the month of August. Before, we used to do these kind of month to month, the 15th through the 19th, and it was awkward timing. We're just doing full months now. So, but this is the full month of August of 2024. There were 139 alcoholic beverage inspections, retail locations, 225 tobacco and cannabis inspections, and 15 cannabis advisories were issued. If you recall, these are the pamphlets and the information, the advisories in regards to who can and cannot sell cannabis. Those were the 15 advisories that we're talking about. So that's all work up from the Field Enforcement Division. Reportable incidents, and these are from inspections from 21 reportable incidents and with seizures that occurred. And so I'm going to go over the amount and the number of tax loss associated with that amount. There were 54,953 sticks of other tobacco products, yielding a tax loss of $38,467.10. There were 684 packs of cigarettes, yielding a tax loss of $3,420. 239 bottles of distilled spirits confiscated, 255 containers of beer, and 2 containers of wine. So those were the reportable incidents occurring across the state of Maryland. And, you know, with this extra personnel that we have, not only the cannabis enforcement that we're doing, but also you're seeing these large upticks in tobacco cases as well. So are really proud of our team going out there, getting a lot of this work done. There are no questions. I'm going to hand the mic over to our newly minted director, Andrew Waters, so that he could provide a readout regarding the Regulatory Licensing and Administrative Services Division.
Thanks, Tom. So we have 2 vacancies that we're hoping to get filled very quickly. Interviews start next week for our Fiscal Services Supervisor. Their main role is being responsible for analyzing and preparing our budget and manage the agency's finances. The second being Licensing Unit Supervisor. They, of course, run the licensing unit, and they both can't get here soon enough as we enter our October renewal, which is by far our biggest period. Roughly 5,000 permits that essentially a 3-man team need to renew. And these include storage, solicitors, out-of-state suppliers, on top of the 50,000 vehicle identification cards, which are issued to our alcohol transporters that come in and out of the state regularly throughout the year. Within the last month, our very small team has issued and renewed 510 licenses and permits. So we are very much in the full swing of our renewal period. Back to you.
Great. Thank you very much. And we'll move over to the Legal and Legislative Division report. Want to bring everybody's attention to September 12th, 2024. We were grateful and excited to host the Senate Finance Committee at our location. We provided them a tour of our location to include our offices, and as always, the star of the show, really our storage unit, where we secure a lot of the contraband properties, kind of showing, members of the Finance Committee exactly, what we're doing to support the legal markets that sell these products in the state of Maryland, and really wrap our arms around and address the illicit markets in this that deal in alcohol, tobacco, and unlicensed cannabis. So we're really excited to show a tour, give information to the Senate, members of the Senate Finance Committee as to the internal work that we're doing, our administrative processes, our licensing, so on and so forth. And I actually want to now take an opportunity and give the chairman a couple of minutes to talk about his impressions of the Senate Finance Committee visit to our office.
Thank you, Tom. I've had the opportunity to work with Senator Kramer before. He sponsored the legislation that created ATC and then ATCC. He seemed to be very pleased with the way the agency has evolved coming out of the Comptroller's office. There were a number of good questions from members of the Senate Finance Committee, many of whom really weren't knowledgeable about all of the working pieces. And Jeff did a great job, our executive director, in outlining our responsibilities and the things that we do to make sure that the system is being properly carried on, from licensing to inspections to enforcement. And I think everybody always enjoys going down and seeing the product that has been seized. Didn't realize what a arduous product placement it is. I had a chance to be on one of the busts that was made about 1.5 years ago, and our agents were very courteous when they went in, but I didn't realize that they had to take a look at every illicit stick, count them, mark them down, and then when we got back to the office, the same process was done again when it went downstairs into the processing room, so that we made sure that everything that was collected was brought in and accounted for. And the fact is, if you're going to court, you got to make sure you've got a chain of custody, and they did a great job doing that. Our office space is outstanding compared to where we had been previously, and especially with the number of people that we currently have. And I would encourage anybody who is in the area to make a call and stop in and visit and learn a little bit more about our operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, we thank Chair Beidel and all the members of the Senate Finance Committee for coming and touring our location. And, to echo the chairman, we would welcome, folks from around the state to come in and particularly, stakeholders involved with the work that we do to come in and take a look at our agency and things that we're doing here. So appreciate the words, Mr. Chair. I want to pivot to the work group that was held yesterday for tobacconists, and I'll get a little bit of background and history so that you know what we're talking about. Senate Bill 244 was passed this past legislative session, and it did a number of things. It first of all incorporated vaping into the do not smoke the Clean Indoor Air Act, which prohibits smoking indoors. It incorporated vaping into that, so now that you can't vape in indoor public places. It also there was a military exemption, I think, component to that as well. Whereas before, if you're 18 to 21, if you had shown your military ID, you could actually purchase tobacco products. That in 2019, the feds had raised the age to 21. Maryland law caught up last year and codified that restriction in this law as well. And then lastly, and relevant to this conversation, was the work group which was created, which studied tobacconists. Specifically, tobacconists are licensees wherein over 70% of the product that they sell are other tobacco products. So we're talking more specifically about premium cigars, pipe tobacco, things of that nature, where there were tobacconists around the state who had been able to have alcoholic beverage licenses issued to them. There are about 13, 14 of these license holders in the state. And at the time, during the legislative session, there was concern that, first of all, how did these licenses get issued? And the legislature thought it would be good to study this particular issue because there were counties, I think Senator Watson out of Prince George's County had wanted to introduce a bill that would have allowed a cigarette lounge license to take effect in Prince George's County. That legislation did not make it through the chamber, and there was a moratorium put on any new alcoholic beverage licenses being issued to tobacconists. And as a result, there was a request to have a work group get together to study this particular issue. Yesterday was the first meeting of the work group. Senator Beidel was present. Senator Watson was present online. Delegate Arentz was present online. Delegate Jackson was present online. And there were representatives from Senator Lamb's office as well, among various stakeholders, representatives from the Other Tobacco Products Association, and health stakeholders who all met to discuss this issue. There are going to be 3 more meetings held. The goal is to get a study and/or recommendations published by July 1st, 2025 on this issue. I think it's an important topic. It was a lively discussion, and we're going to be reporting back to the commission in the months to come once we have further meetings and collect more information. So it was a really good meeting, but just wanted to kind of bring that to the attention of the commission because those are the things that we're involved in. With that, I want to turn the mic over to Mike Wynn, our communications officer, to walk you through our new and improved website, as well as our new footprint that we're starting to, the footprint we're trying to establish in the social media world. So with that, Mike, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the things that we're doing in communications at ATCC. So can you advance to the next slide, Jessica? So before I talk about the website, let's just take a step back and for the fiscal year 24-25, there are these 4 items are our key messaging goals that I'm looking to do. These will probably change year to year, but since we're fairly new, and especially our communications department is new, these are the ones that I feel like the most important. So the first one is to clarify the ATCC's role. So there's a lot of, when I got here, I felt like there's a lot of confusion of exactly what our agency does, and especially coming from the comptrollers, we needed to define exactly our responsibilities and how we regulate our industries. Then we hear a lot. The next thing that we hear a lot about the 3-tier system, as it's referred to, the alcohol manufacturing, distribution, and retail area. So I wanted to make sure we educate our stakeholders on that. And then going back to our clarifying our role, because there's confusion where what we do, how we relate to the Maryland comptrollers and Maryland Cannabis Administration. And because we came from the comptrollers, we want to tell how we separate and what we specifically do, and the role for how the comptroller collects taxes, and then how the Maryland Cannabis Administration regulates that industry. And then overall, and this will probably be a central theme indefinitely, is advocate for responsible practices, where if it's from manufacturing, distribution, and so on. Next slide. So here's our new website. And I've been very careful to tell people internally this is a update, not exactly a new website, because the biggest change is that we switched over to a new website platform. And the reason why we needed to switch is because we are a small agency and we need to be able to respond to our stakeholders as quickly as possible. So this new platform, we switched over to WordPress. It's a widely used platform, and there's a lot of versatility with it. So again, we needed the agility to be able to update our stakeholders quickly, and especially that we're doing all this in-house. We needed to have the tools available to build things that makes it easier for users get to what they need. So that kind of relates to the next point, where we're improving the navigation. And my goal for the front page is, like, when people come to our website, I want them to be able to find what they need as soon as possible. So rather than just having a lot of information, background information about the ATCC, because we already have a whole page in the website for that. But if you're coming here, you need to get information about alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, you have that right in front of you as soon as you log on. And then overall, this is building the foundation for future growth. So we have a lot of exciting things planned. Most recently, we just relaunched our license database, which we developed completely in-house, and we have similar tools that we're going to provide to help not only our stakeholders who visit our website, but help our processes internally behind the scenes as well. Next slide. So related to getting everybody, all of our stakeholders, to understand what we do, we launched our newsletter. So we had our first issue last quarter, so we just have our second issue this past summer. This came out in the end of August, and our plan is to release a newsletter every quarter. And in this issue, we have a lot of interesting articles. So we're talking about how we're working with local agencies like the Baltimore City Police, the Baltimore Sheriff's Office, and the Baltimore Liquor Board in this specific instance to focus on underage drinking efforts and then we also have well, a few months ago we released a pamphlet to explain the Cannabis Reform Act, and then in this issue we go a little bit deeper on that. And then I also want to have people to get to know what the people that works at the ATCC. So in this issue, we highlight the trade practices and give them an opportunity to talk about what they do, how they are a resource to the industry to make sure the industries are operating responsibly, and plus just getting to know the people in the department as well. And then and finally, in this issue, we also recently launched our legislative manual, but in the newsletter, we also provided a few, broke it down a little bit further to explain the new laws that came in effect on July 1st. Okay, next slide. And then literally last week, we launched multiple social media platforms. And this was a process that we put a lot of thought in. So we could have just as easily, when I first started almost a year ago, just opened up a whole bunch of social media accounts, but we wanted to be thoughtful of what we want to do. So we wanted to do that because we want to make sure that we're not just opening accounts and it's not doing anything for us. And here, and some of our goals that we were trying to do with our social media, we wanted people to really know about what we are what we do and what our functions are at the ATCC, help businesses and help the community understands the rules regarding the 3 industries that we work in, make sure we share clear and accurate information as they come. And then most importantly, we want to build trust with the public, and we do that by being open and consistent. So that's why it was important that I not just open all these accounts and not have a consistent plan, because we want to make sure that we're fulfilling our goals. So next slide. So that's basically our new communications products in a nutshell. Happy to take questions, but and as you can see, we have our social media QR codes just in case you want to follow us on social media. But if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them now. If not, I'll hand it back to Tom.
Mike, could you drop, if you don't mind, maybe in the chat, or maybe have Jessica drop in the chat, just links to, the website, links to, maybe the LinkedIn, the Facebook, the Instagram, just, if you can as well. I love the QR codes, but, I sometimes am guilty of being a little bit less tech savvy than others. And so, okay. If folks feel more comfortable clicking on a link, they have that option.
Okay. Well, I just dropped in, just in case you're not subscribed to our newsletter, the first link I put in is to subscribe to our newsletter. And then as we wrap up, I'll put in the links to the rest of our social media. Okay.
And Mr. Chair, just so that you know, we started with 0 followers last week, and are we at 99,000, Mike?
Yeah, he keeps adding the extra K on it, but when I told him it was, we gained 99 followers in a matter of days. But that number is actually higher now, so we got about 126 last time I checked.
Okay, great work, Mike. Great work.
All right.
And with that, I'll touch on the last. If nobody has any questions, I'll touch on the last piece of our presentations with the OLA audit very quickly. The OLA audit team was here on site from early to mid-June to let's say mid to late August. They've made a couple of inquiries in regards to some of our inventory and some other records that they've asked for. Over the last week or so, we've provided them with that information. So we believe that the end of the audit will be coming soon, and we should have some kind of report out within the next coming weeks. We're not sure, but we've fulfilled all of the requests as per the OLA audit. And so just looking forward to closing that out shortly. I believe with that covers the agenda today. Mr. Chair, I did see Eric Morissette, Chairman,
I did
Commissioner
too.
Morissette, jump on too. So we may have a quorum if Commissioner Morissette is present.
Yes, so it looks like we have Commissioner Poole, Commissioner Morissette, and myself, which would be a quorum. And so I'm going to ask for an approval of the August 15th, 2024 meeting minutes. I need a motion, please. All right, Commissioner Poole, second. I'll do the second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, okay. The ayes have it. So this is an official meeting, and those minutes have been recorded and approved. Is there any new business that anybody has? Okay, if not, Commissioner Poole, will you turn on your mic? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good to hear you. I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion. All in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I see Commissioner Morissette waving. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank Mr. Akris and our staff for the information they've given us. I think our website is really good, and it's only going to get better. So I wish everybody a great day, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.